Welcome to Blush, where beauty meets legacy. Find your strength and your holiness naturally. This is the space where the faith in you aligns with the purpose that's written in all of the signs. Let your femininity shine so bright. Yeah, leave a legacy, a beautiful light. Welcome to Blush. Whoa. Yeah, a legacy. Blush.
Welcome back to Blush, where beauty meets legacy, and I'm your host, Dominique B. Listen, we've stepped into June. Y'all, June is like my favorite month. It's the month where I was born. It's the month where everything is blooming, stretching, and becoming. And did I mention I was born in June? Yeah, that part. Yeah, flowers are opening, the trees are full bloom, like everything just seems so much brighter. And you know, June also teaches us something very powerful. That what blooms publicly first was cultivated privately. And that is legacy. So not just what people remember after you're gone, but what grows because you lived. Legacy is a deeper than a popularity contest or situation. It's deeper than the applause that you get. It's deeper than the aesthetics. It's deeper than your followers and recognition that you may get from people who you don't even know. Legacy leaves an impact in your hearts, minds, and futures of others. You know, some people leave money, some leave buildings, some leave wisdom, some even leave wounds, and some leave healing. Well, tonight I want us to talk about cultivating a legacy that blooms long after the season changes. So first we're going to start off with, what is legacy? Yeah, before we go deeper, let's define legacy, because I could be saying this word all night and you don't know what it means. It means what remains after you pass. It's the fingerprints of your life onto the next generation. Legacy is what your children remember, what your community carries, and what your students repeat, what your family inherits emotionally and spiritually. And guess what? What heaven records about how you lived. Oh, that's a big one. Legacy is not just inheritance. I know a lot of us always think that, but it's influence. And here's the truth. Everybody leaves something behind. The question is, what are we planting? Yeah. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Children, not to your children, but it extends, right? This scripture is often interpreted financially, but inheritance is also spiritual, emotional, moral, behavioral. You can inherit resilience. Yes, you can inherit wisdom. You can inherit even trauma. Yeah, you can inherit faith as well. So we're not going to get stuck there. Legacy is transferred through living. Legacy is cultivated, not created overnight. See, June is beautiful because it shows us the reward of consistency. Flowers don't bloom the day after the seed is planted, and neither does legacy. Legacy is something that's cultivated in the ordinary days, and how you speak, how you forgive, how you lead, how you show up when nobody claps for you, but you're there anyway. You don't get that applause. No one says your name, but you step in the gap. See, a lot of people want visible success, but don't want invisible development. You got to be worked on. You have to be groomed into this process. But legacy grows underground first. Yeah, like those roots. Roots before the flowers appear. Can I say something? Some of you are listening and you're frustrated because your life doesn't look in full bloom. Reality check. Roots are still growth. Discipline is still growth. Rest, and we all need to do it, is still growth. Learning, we need to always continue to learn. It's still growth. Beautiful isn't always loud. So ask yourself, what am I watering every day? Because eventually, whatever you water will bloom. Whatever you water will bloom. That's putting on legacy. When people see you going forth and moving forth, and you're creating without a sound, you're creating without that applause, you're creating legacy. Legacy is quiet. Legacy isn't boastful. The right legacy allows you to bloom in such a beautiful way. So we're going to get into that today. And we're going to talk about first the legacy of small things. We always think things have to be big and grandiose, and it does not. But you know that, we know this. Some of the best things come in small packages, right? And some of the big things, like a big teddy bear, I don't want it. I don't want it. You can keep it. It's big. It's useless. It's just keeping up space. So that's big. And guess what? I don't want it. No shade to everybody that like little stuffed animals and teddy bears. I just don't. Fun fact. Okay? This June baby, she don't want the stuffed animals. Listen, I think sometimes we underestimate the small act. Y'all, can I be honest? I'm just being honest. I don't like them. All right? That's my fun fact. That's my little quirk. Y'all don't like some stuff? Put in the comments some things y'all don't like. We're not going to judge. It's not a judging area. Because don't judge me about my stuffed animals. We think legacy has to be massive, and it doesn't. But legacy can look like a grandmother praying. And y'all all know y'all want them grandmother prayers. Them grandmother prayers is what keep y'all, what sustain y'all, what get y'all out of trouble. Y'all don't know how y'all got out of that trouble with them grandmother prayers. Legacy can also look like a teacher encouraging a student. A woman choosing healing. Yeah, because when you choose healing, your kids see that. And then they don't fall into a trap. You know, we talk about those trauma-filled curses that go through the family is because of what they seen. But when they see you break that curse, that's legacy. Yes, that's instilling into our young women and our young men. And that is something that's quiet, but yet very powerful. A father becoming emotionally available. That's major, especially for a young lady. Because then she doesn't have to go seek after a man because she's not getting that from her own father. Or becoming available for the son so that nobody who don't serve him any good is teaching him habits. But he can get a strong foundation from his father. Yes, these are small legacies that matter. Look, these are the roots that shape and mold a person. A mentor making time. You don't understand how amazing it is for you to just listen to someone. A lot of times people just need a listening ear. You don't have to say anything back. You could just say, and just listen. Neither agreeing or disagreeing, just listening. People just need a release. They need a release. That's all they do when they go sit on them couches in them psychiatrist's office. They just talk. They just need a release. They maybe tell them a couple things and send them on their way. But they were able to get that off of their chest. So yes, legacy often begins quietly. A small seed, if you will. Like when you're planting. You plant that small seed, but then what starts happening over time? Not right away. But over time, you start seeing that thing blossom and bloom. And even your family line was filled with chaos. It was, guess what? You can become the interruption. Somebody put in the comments, I have become the interruption. I will become the interruption. Go ahead and put it. Yeah. You could become that healthy branch. You already know that when there's some trees and the trees start dying off, it's because it's this one bad branch that infects the whole tree. Let's be that healthy branch, right? Even roses need pruning. So sometimes unhealthy branches have to come off of that tree or off of that bush for everything else to thrive. Pruning is a part of growing when you're planting plants. My rose bushes, I always have to clip and snip because then it makes room for it to grow big and lush. Same thing. Some people might have to be cut off. That's not a bad thing. That's not saying that you are a bad person, but you are protecting yourself. So you can become the bloom your family has been waiting for. Yes, you. You can be that bloom because you're going to put you first. That's legacy. And then the next one is leaving something beautiful behind. Notice I said beautiful, not pretty. Leaving something beautiful behind. I don't just want success. I want substance. I want this to mean something. I don't want you to say, oh, I had all these buildings and I made all these millions of dollars and nobody could say anything nice about you. Nobody could say anything kind about you or what you did for your community, what you instilled in them, but that you just had these things, these items. No, like it needs to have substance. I want people to feel seen after encountering me. I want my words to heal. I want my presence to bring peace. I want my life to bring people back to God. If you don't see God in me, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do because it's not about Dominique B. It's about the God that's living within me. I am his vessel. I am doing the Lord's work and I want to be seen as such. I don't want to be seen as somebody that's just trying to be out there for herself to be seen. I want to leave legacy that shows that I am a vessel of God. I want people to say, you know what? The way she walked, the way she talked, the way she lived, I seen the God in her. That's legacy. Not perfection. I am perfectly imperfect. I tell y'all that all the time. Not perfect. So I'm not looking for perfection. I don't even want people to see perfection in me because then that's them trying to live up to something that they simply can't live up to. I can't live up to it. The only person who is perfect walking on this earth was Jesus Christ. That's it. That's all. Nobody else. Nope. But I want to also have intentional living. I don't want my living to be in vain. No. And so maybe this June, my birthday month, your blooming won't look like a popularity contest. But it'll be looking like something substantial. Think about that. Because I know we just don't sit and just be like, what is my legacy going to be? We don't sit and just think about that. But I want us to right now. Because I want to have a life worth living, a life worth leaving things behind so that my children can say, this is what she did for the kingdom. Not just for herself. This is what she did. So maybe blooming for you looks like finally healing. Maybe it looks like you're starting or restarting. Restarting is not a bad thing. Restarting is actually a good thing. It's a positive thing. It's the going in the right direction. Roots are starting to get bust through the soil. Yeah. Finally resting. How many of y'all need to rest? Put in the comments, I need to rest. I've been needing to rest. And I tell people it's not a bad thing. Resting is worship. You're able to hear from the Father when you rest. Because your mind is just focused on him. Finally believing in yourself. People telling you you do good and stuff all the time and then you don't believe it. You got to remember whose you are. And so believe in yourself. When you start believing in yourself, you're going to start leaving little trails of legacy all behind. Finally forgiving. Yeah. I paused there for a reason. Because that's a big one. The person that you aren't forgiving don't even know. Forgiving is for you. And I know people have told you that before, but try it and see the release that comes up off you. Because you are putting a pause in your life story when you can't forgive because God can't work through you because you have up a wall. So we have to forgive and let God work it out. He got it. He can fight that battle better than any of us anyway. Let him do it. And then finally, becoming who God created you to be. We won't know what that is until we quiet ourselves. So that resting is very important. Because you cannot tap into what God has for you. You can't hear his voice clearly if you are trying to live for someone else. If you're trying to be what social media wants you to be. If you're trying to be what everybody else wants you to be, you cannot tap into what God has for you. Let me tell you something. When you tap in, you are going to be doing things that you never thought you would be doing. I am doing things I never would have thought I would be doing. I never would have thought I would have blush. Full transparency, I love just being a wife and a homemaker and a teacher. And that's it. All this other stuff that's happening in my life right now is because I tapped in. And when I tapped in, I started hearing what he had for me to do, and everything just started unfolding. Y'all, the manifestation period that I'm going through right now is so incredible. I can't even speak on all of it because he's giving it to me so fast. It's like fast and furious. And I have to listen to him and I have to obey, because obedience is better than sacrifice. And I'm helping someone in the obedience. I'm helping someone bloom. And so I have to follow this path. And y'all, I must admit, I like this path he's taking me on. Beauty, legacy, unity, strength, holiness. That's God. That's all God. That's all God. And I'm just walking in it. I'm his vessel and I'm just doing what he tells me to do. That's it and that's all. And you know what? That is beautiful. That's beautiful. So I want to leave you with this because I feel like I just, kind of been really, really talking, and I just want you to get it in your spirit this June, my birthday month. I want you to get this in your spirit. I want you to just remember this, like for real, in all honesty. Flowers don't compete with each other. Nope. They bloom where they are planted. And your legacy does not need to look like anybody else's. I don't think mine looks like anybody else's. I think the path he has me on is my path. I'm excited about that. And I know your path is amazing. I know a lot of y'all that's out there watching and the path that y'all going on. I celebrate you. And I think it's amazing because I get to see God working through us in different ways. And it's listen, I know people that a year ago, they aren't in the situation that they're in now. And they blowing up, y'all. Blowing up because they're listening to God and letting God use them. So this June, bloom intentionally. Put intentionally in the comments. Even put bloom. I'm going to bloom intentionally. How about that? Because now you're making a declaration. Now it has to happen when you manifesting it because you're putting it out into the universe. It has to happen. It's from your lips to God's ears. So put, I'm blooming intentionally. Put, I'm loving intentionally. Healing intentionally. Living intentionally, because somebody's future may bloom because you chose to grow. So we are in our growing season. Yes, we are. This, ladies, and for my gentlemen who are watching, is blush.
This is blush. With Dominic.